Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with the What a Deck profile for the Tiny Beast Lockdown 2016. I'm just going to go through everything in here, and then I'll explain how it works. So we have 3 Egotistical Ape, 2 Wind-Up Kitten, 3 Valeraphon, 2 Calantosa, 3 Baby Raccoon Tantan, and 3 Uniflora. For spells, we have 3 Ayers Rock Sunrise, 1 Upstart Goblin, 3 Obedient Schooled, 3 Dark World Dealings, 3 Into the Void, 3 Forbidden Chalice, and 3 Closed Forest for our traps, 2 Void Trap Hole, and 3 Solemn Strike. Going into the extra deck, we have 1 Leo, 1 Leo Drake, 1 Lightning Tricorn, 1 Voltic Bicorn, 1 Thunder Unicorn, Goyo Guardian, 2 Naturia Beast, 1 Great Old One Hastur, ZW Leo Arms, Crumble Logos, Sky Cavalry, 2 number 64 Ronin Raccoon, and 1 Gachi Gachi Gentetsu. The side deck I will go over in a moment. So the point of this deck is to make Naturia Beast. If you're unfamiliar with this card, while it's face up on the field, you could send the top 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard to negate the activation of a spell card and destroy it. In addition to that, we're playing some cards like Void Trap Hole and Solemn Strike that are going to negate monster effects and monster summons, as well as Forbidden Chalice, which also negates monster effects. So hopefully between those two, you can create enough of a lockdown to just beat down your opponent. The original version of this, the 2015 version, played 3 Royal Decree in addition, which is going to negate all trap cards. If you want, you can side out like the Solemn Strikes and put this in here. But unfortunately, I found that monster effects were way more of a threat than trap cards were, so I had to put in some anti-monster effects, and these traps were the best way to do it. If you're going against something like PK Fire, where you're going to need anti-trap support, I would definitely side these in. This is like key side deck component right here. But otherwise, I think you're best off just staying with these ones and trying to lock down spells and monster effects specifically. So in order to make Naturia Beast, there's several different ways to do it with this deck. The easiest one is with Obedient Schooled. This is if you control no monsters, special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast type monsters with different names from your deck. Their effects are negated, they're destroyed during the end phase, and you can only summon beast type monsters this turn. So the good combo with that is to summon out Valeraphon, which is a level 2 tuner, any of your other level 2 beasts, preferably Kitten or Calantosa, and then 1 Uniflora, which will give you 2 plus 2 plus 1 will be 5, and there's your instant Naturia Beast. So that's a 1-card Naturia Beast. If you go first, if you have it, this is an excellent starting play. Unfortunately, there's no way to search it, but that's why we play things like Dark World Dealings and Into the Void. As much of a risk as Into the Void is, if you can get Obedient Schooled first turn, a lot of times that's enough to just make your opponent surrender right off. Plus with the traps that we play, and the Forbidden Chalice, and just Closed Forest, all these things that you can set or just activate and leave up, Into the Void isn't too much of a problem unless you get flooded with monsters, which we don't have as many of, but it can still happen. The second way to make Naturia Beast is with Egotistical Ape. This card can't be normal summoned or set. You can only special summon it by sending 1 beast-type monster from your hand to the graveyard. When it's special summoned by this effect, you can either increase the level of this card by the level of the monster you sent, or decrease it. So what you do with Egotistical Ape is you discard one of your other level 2 monsters, and then you can decrease this monster's level by that amount. So it becomes level 3 and you special summoned it. And then you can just normal summon one of your other level 2s, either your Kitten or this, or Tantan, or you can either normal summon Uniflora. This one you can tribute it to special summon a beast from your graveyard or hand. It can't attack that turn, but it's still, like, you can discard Kitten, summon up Uniflora, and then tribute Uniflora to get the Kitten back on the field. And then you've got 2 plus 3, and that gets you the instant Naturia Beast that you need. Everything else here is pretty much just the best targets for Obedient Schooled. Like, we need a level 2 tuner, we need a level 2 beast, and a level 1 beast. So I just picked out the ones that I thought were the best. Wind-Up Kitten is surprisingly good. You could target 1 monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. This effect can only be used once while this card's face up on the field. But if you use like the combo I just described, where you summon it with Uniflora, you can then pop one of your opponent's cards, one of their big monsters if they already have it out, and just use it with Egotistical Ape to summon out Beast. Likewise, Calantosa, when this is summoned by the effect of a Beast-type monster, you could target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So this sends back to the hand, this destroys, and obviously Uniflora is a beast, so if you use its effect to summon this from the graveyard, bada bingo, bada bango, there you go. Valeraphon, in addition to just being the tuner, has this effect that you can discard a card to summon 1 level 2 or lower beast-type monster from your graveyard, which again is good because you can get out this, you can get out Wind-Up Kitten, and because you can summon it in face-up attack or face-down defense, you can even get Baby Raccoon Tantan. This is just another generic level 2. It's actually kind of slow for the modern, but it's decent as essentially a trap. What you do is you just set it. When it's flipped, you could special summon one level 2 or lower beast type monster from your deck. So you just summon out this guy, and he'll pop something on the field. That's the only reason he's here, just another level 2. I couldn't find any other really good ones except for maybe Sea Koala, but I think this works a little bit better. So in addition to synchro summoning, all these level 2s are also really good for summoning out number 64, Ronin Raccoon Sandayu. Once per turn, you can attach 1 Ixie material from this card, special summon 1 Raccoon token. When summoned, its attack becomes equal to the current attack of the monster on the field that has the highest attack. And while you control another beast monster, this can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So this is just a pretty good beatdown. Worst case scenario, you could summon this out and then make a token that's equal to whatever the highest attack point monster is, and then just crash it in there to get rid of this. Best case scenario, you get Closed Forests. This is all face-up beast monsters you control, gain 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. Also, field spell cards cannot be activated while this is on the field. So this is a little bit of a lockdown and helps get rid of field spells, which is just a little added bonus, although those aren't very popular these days. It's still a little something. But this also makes it so that, like, say your opponent has out of Blue Eyes, you make Ronin Raccoon, you summon a 3000 token, well, then it's going to get at least 100 for that Ixie material in the graveyard. Most likely there'll be more, especially if you've been milling with Naturia Beast. So all your tokens are going to be higher than your opponent's monsters. And just in general, getting Naturia Beast up to a respectable 25, even to 3000, because its effect keeps milling stuff, the more spells they activate, the more powerful your Naturia Beast is going to get. I think I already explained this effect negation, effect summon negation, summon effect negation. These are just to speed through your deck and get things into the graveyard. Because like I said, you can use Valerophon to summon things out of the graveyard and Uniflor to summon things. And this is actually any beast, so if you get Naturia Beast in the graveyard, you can just tribute it to summon your Naturia Beast right back out. So that's why we play 3 of these as kind of recovery. The only downside of that effect is you can't use it if there's monsters in your graveyard other than Beast type, which is why we play so many Beast type synchros. Hastur and Goyo Guardian are the only synchros that aren't Beast type. Most of the Ixies are unfortunately not Beast type, which is why we mostly go for Ronin Raccoon. So just be careful when you're doing those, you sort of lose your recovery ability. If you can make it game, then it doesn't really matter. The only other thing I didn't talk about was Ayers Rock Sunrise. This is essentially Monster Reborn for Beast-type monsters, except when you summon it, all monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each plant, beast, and wing beast in your graveyard. Beast being the main thing. Just because, again, we put so many beasts in the graveyard and we get a couple, it's just more stuff to help boost up Naturia Beast by lowering your opponent's attack. Oh, and of course the one Upstart Goblin, just because you want to go as fast as possible in this. And life points don't really... If you can lock down your opponents early on, then life points don't really matter if they can't do anything. As for the side deck, things I would actually put in the side deck. Royal Decree, like I said before. Twin Twister, because sometimes you don't have the option of going first, you have to go second. And for decks that have a lot of face-up spell traps or field spells, this can be really important to get rid of those, so that you can then negate any future things with Naturia Beast. I'd also consider 2 Sea Koala. You could replace these for the Wind-Up Kittens or the Calantosa. This says while you control another beast-type monster, you can reduce the attack of one monster your opponent controls to 0. This is good against more beat-down decks or decks that, like, can't be destroyed or returned to the hand for whatever reason. This is really good, especially because this can destroy any target on the field, not just a monster. But sometimes if they don't have spell traps and if they can't be destroyed, then this is the best way to work around that. Alternatively, if this doesn't work, you can put up another Wind-Up Kitten. If Kitten doesn't work, you can put in another one of these. They're just good swap out for whatever you need. Everything else in here is just sort of like alternate options. I originally ran Grand Horn of Heaven instead of Solemn Strike. If Solemn Strike ends up getting hit by the ban list in the future, I would just replace it with Grand Horn of Heaven. Alternatively, I also ran some Storming Mirror Forces and some Mirror Force. This could be really good against decks that swarm a lot, especially ones that don't have a lot of spell trap removal. They're still a little slow, but they can be much more devastating. Of course, Void Trap Hole's also an option. This is probably my favorite of the trap holes at the moment, just because there's not a lot of little monsters. A lot of these things can summon out these big, huge beat sticks, and this will not only negate their effects on the field and in the graveyard, but it destroys them, so it's twice as good. And finally, Pot of Desires. This is one I'm still trying to avoid. I'm pretty sure this is going to be hit on the ban list. I don't really like this card, But because this deck has so many different options for summoning out things, this is actually probably good draw power, better than Into the Void at least. Of course, it's also really expensive, so if you're making this in real life, Into the Voids are probably cheaper. So there you go, there's the Tiny Beast Lockdown 2016. It's a pretty decent deck. It's not great, not my best work, but you know, it does its thing. Next week, I will not have a What a Deck profile for you, actually. I'm going to be making a different kind of video next week. It'll be related to the What a Deck, but it won't be a What a Deck. So tune in for that. And after that week, I'll have the What a Decks back on schedule again. So 2 weeks from now, something else. Until then, good luck, have fun.